Welcome back to all our viewers. Welcome back, Paras. What a cracker of a game we've just witnessed. Mumbai Indians, at one point, they were down and out, and the comeback kings, like always, have ensured a victory by 10 runs. At a stage, it was run a ball for KKR, but then they fell short of 10 runs. Some amazing bowling in the end. What do you have to say, Paras?
Well, what a nail biter of a match. A fantastic all-round performance by Mumbai Indians. Kolkata were dominating up till the 12th over, and since then it's been Mumbai all over. Kudos to Mumbai, and also Rohit Sharma for setting the right fields and bringing the right changes about in the bowling department.
Good point you made there. It's very important for Rohit Sharma as well, Paras, to make sure that he is always in that zone and he's always aware of what's happening in the game. Because as a captain, you cannot slack in that department. As a captain, you have to be aware that what the score is. The 31 of 31 required at one point. Everyone, I'm sure everyone were thinking that this is KKR's game easily in the pocket with Nitish Rana and Shakib batting. And then from there to turn it around the way they did is absolutely commendable. So kudos to Rohit Sharma, Paras. So what do you have to say about Rohit's captaincy at that stage, Paras?
Well, Rohit Sharma, what I liked about his captaincy today is the bowling changes that he did. In spite of Treadbolt not having the best of the starts, he still backed him for the last over when 15 were
Yes.
required. Apart from that, Chahar also didn't have the best of the starts, but he kept him on. And I also saw a couple of exchanges in between Chahar not happy with the field, but Rohit Sharma staying persistent and asking him to bowl accordingly, and hence for the results. So, very good captaincy by Rohit Sharma.
Speaking of Chahar, what a lovely spell he bowled today. The last time around, he was thrashed around for like 10 runs and over, but then coming back and proving that he has that caliber and potential, and taking 4 wickets in 4 overs. That's amazing. And he took all the top order batsmen. As I saw the scorecard, it was amazing from Rahul Chahar the way he bowled.
Well, absolutely, yes. Chahar, for me, would be the man of the match. Picking
Definitely.
up those wickets up top is never easy. And given Kolkata were always in the game, he didn't indice a couple of false strokes. A few shots were not required, frankly speaking, from the Kolkata batsmen, but they never could bring the run rate below five. So yes,
Yeah.
kudos to Chahar as well. Fantastic spell of leg spin bowling.
Absolutely, and some positives for KKR as well. Yet again, we saw Nitish Rana among the runs, and he is the orange cap holder currently now after 2 games,
Mm.
scoring around 130, 140 runs. And he batted really well, and he there was this responsibility that he's taken now. I can see it the way he approaches the innings. He's not playing those risky shots. He's just playing through the line. What do you have to say about this guy? The way he's taken up this IPL and he's lit it in the first 2 games.
They've entrusted him with the opening slot to begin with. He's got a very calm head on those shoulders. The way he's batting is textbook style. He's not trying to do anything out of the box.
Yes.
And henceforth the results. And he's any which way has always been termed as a classical batsman. And he stuck to his game, played his shots. And also he was in the Mumbai camp, so he's very familiar with the bowling style of each of the bowlers, except for Jensen. Yes, so
Yeah.
that's about it.
Do
And
you
apart
think?
from that, yes, please. Yes, please.
Please go on. Sorry, Paras. Yeah.
And I was just saying that Rana did his best, and others also at the beginning helped around. But there's just one aspect of the Kolkata captaincy which I felt was wrong, was sending Dinesh Karthik above Russell at the time when 30 odd runs were required of 30 odd balls. That kind of showed a negative perspective about them not being sure of winning this game.
That's a good point you made there, Paras. I mean, everyone would be wanting to see the way the game turned. What a turn of game! It's true. The way the game went. We all thought at one point that it is done and dusted. But then, yes, that's what champions are made of. What do you have to say about this mentality that Mumbai Indians possess? And never give up attitude, never say die attitude. What do you have to say, Paras?
Well, I'll sum it up in one word, which would be khadus. That's the word being used around in the Mumbai circuit. All Mumbaikars who are who play believe in this terminology of never giving up, and Sharma being the prime example tonight.
That's very well said. Khadus is what actually they call themselves. And something I noticed was a bit different was the approach that Rohit Sharma took by giving Pollard an over. He came himself and he bowled an over. So, do you think Hardik Pandya not being able to bowl or not opting to bowl for whatever reasons, for injury reasons, is that a step back or a setback for them in any way? Because when the match goes down to the wire and one of your bowlers is not performing really well, you need a couple of overs, handy overs from your all rounder, don't you?
Well, absolutely. If Hardik Pandya is fit to bowl, he definitely can bowl in 2 to 3 overs, or also a quota of 4 overs if required. He clocks anywhere in between 130, 135, which is always a good attribute as a third bowler.
Yes.
And him being unfit is definitely left a void for Mumbai. But Pollard was just a gamble for me, as per what Sharma's thought process was. Pollard with his cutters has been effective in the past, but
Yeah.
looking at Pollard all over, he needs some game time to get into the element of performing. Yes.
Yes, that's fair. He definitely needs a couple of games to get and set the groove. I saw a couple of dropped catches out there, Paras. I'm sure you did too. What do
Yes.
you have to say about that? Was that a worry of, kind of a concern for their camp because dropping catches of Andre Russell twice, that's not going to be any good in this context of the game.
Well, the terminology of butterfingers has been, stuck since the inception of this IPL. Every team seems to be dropping a lot of catches. Let alone talking about Russell today was a lucky getaway for Mumbai.
Yeah.
Him scoring 3 sixes in 3 balls is just a basic for him. Also, Krunal
True.
Pandya had the easier of the chances, but Jasprit Bumrah didn't even touch the ball, and he missed the ball by a mile. And the expressions on Rohit Sharma's face was, I think he's dropped the match. But Bumrah coming back in the 19th over, doing his job as a bowler. Yeah, a good game
He's
all over.
maintained his reputation as a lethal death bowler, hasn't he? Jasprit Bumrah. Whenever he gets that over, he makes sure that those 6 balls, he's going to give it all. And that's what he did in the 19th over. He made sure that there was a reasonable total in the last over left for a Trent Bolt to come in and have that cushion to get last 6 balls.
Well, absolutely. That those 15 runs are very crucial. If Bumrah got hit for a boundary or two, Bolt wouldn't have had the same mentality as he did with 15 runs on board. Well done Bumrah, and well done Rohit for believing in Tread Bolt rather than opting out for Jensen, who's relatively new to cricketing format in the IPL.
That is very true. And speaking of KKR, what do you think, Paras? Where did it all go wrong? Because, like you said, and like we mentioned earlier, at one stage they were cruising, and then this sudden turnaround, shifting of momentum. If you look at the scorecard here, Surya Kumar Yadav scoring and giving that start, and Mumbai getting all out at 152. Again, the momentum had shifted towards KKR, and then KKR when they came out to bat, you can see the top two batsmen being the top scorers for them, and no other
Mhm.
batsman failed to get into the double figures as well. So, what do you have to say about the shift of momentum in this game from Kolkata's perspective, Paras?
Well, Yash, a few of the shots weren't required, frankly speaking.
Yeah.
Going aerial when you need run a ball is always a gamble. As the cricket which is taught at the school stage is when you run a ball, you target one bowler, extract as many runs from one particular over, and then you deliver in singles and move on. Apart from that, coming to the wickets that fell in a cluster, that is, as you have rightly pointed out, no one scoring double figures except for the top two batsmen. This is something that KKR will have to look into. Likes like Captain Morgan there, not playing the best of the strokes. Carbon copy of his dismissal was Saqib Al Hasan. Frankly speaking, Russell did his best to get out, but got saved due to the catching. And even Dinesh Karthik, of what I see, wasn't leading the charge. They were trying to pick singles and doubles, but then the boundary balls were quite they were missing. So there wasn't a game set plan that they had in the middle order, and henceforth the collapse.
Speaking of this, you can't, you don't know, no one knows what's going on in the batsman's mind and the player's mind. It's all in that 22 yards and what happens in that moment. So it was
True.
really sad to see as a KKR fan. If someone is watching, it is really sad to see them lose this way. But speaking of KKR, they have their next game against RCB, who already won a game and are very high on confidence with Virat Kohli and AB de Villiers and Glenn Maxwell being added in the squad. So how would they go
Oh yes.
about this game? KKR being losing this game, very bad shift of momentum, and it's very negative as a team that you lose from such a good stage. So now going
Hmm.
against RCB, who are already high on confidence, how do you think they'll play against them?
The history suggests that when at all KKR and RCB are playing against each other, it's always been a very, very tough contest. RCB really want to continue the momentum, and KKR would want to step out of this crux and want to get back onto winning ways. But the resilience of Virat Kohli is something that is to be challenged from the calm and collective Morgan. So that's also going to be a cracker of a match, Yash.
Hopefully, we don't need Brendan McCullum to come out and thrash those sixes that he did in the first IPL against RCB. We really hope that
Yes.
KKR just manages and figures this out. And speaking of Mumbai Indians, they are going to play Sunrisers Hyderabad in their next game in a couple of days. So, what would be their game plan? Because now, as you said, the Khadu spun has come back in the Mumbai camp, and you really saw like Rahul Chahar, in his own element, and he was like, "मैं कुछ करके दिखाऊंगा," and he really gave all and he took those 4 wickets. It was something amazing. So, what do you think? What would be their game plan against Sunrisers Hyderabad?
First is to negotiate with Rashid Khan. You got to give him
Absolutely.
respect and play out his 4 overs. Apart from him, I'm sure they're going to go after the medium pacer Sandeep Sharma. And I'm sure Mumbai has a strategy when they go against Hyderabad. And Mumbai's momentum is something that they'll have to maintain this in order to proceed further and end up in the top four for the qualifiers. So Hyderabad is going to be a tough team to beat, and also the batting order that Hyderabad possesses on their day can score easily 200 irrespective of what the pitch is. Correct me if I'm
Absolutely.
wrong. This match is in Chennai, right?
Yep. It is in Chennai. You're right.
Correct. So, the new buy for Hyderabad was Mujib.
Yes, we can see him. You're
When,
right.
yes. So, if at all he gets a chance to play, Hyderabad will have a very secure quota of 8 overs. If at all the Mumbai batsmen give them respect. If other which ways, fight fire with fire is the Mumbai attitude. And let's hope and see what happens.
Thank you so much, Paras. And firstly, congratulations to you yet again. 2 out of 2, 100% record
Yeah,
on your end. You've had some great insights of the game and some great expertise to share with us. So thank you for that. And thank you for joining with me for today. I will see you
my
tomorrow with
pleasure.
live action from Chepauk between the Royal Challengers Bangalore and the Sunrisers Hyderabad. Thank you.
Thank you.